Hi again, Magda here. Um, I look a little bit crazy today, but I had 2 long days between yesterday and today. I couldn't log in yesterday, so I'm logging in today right after finishing my kitchen. And my toddler is upstairs just watching some TV. So this is my time. This is my time, and I'm very excited about it. What I'm more excited about is that there is a chance of me getting a job after being uh, 18 months unemployed. Um, I will be honest, I did not dive into getting a job right away after my last gig because I wanted to get into my own company and develop my own company. And definitely, if this doesn't happen, that's going to be the path. Yet I am really kind of changing my mind in that aspect, because I think at my age, I'm 47 years old. I never know if I'm 47, 48, 44. Right after, I think it was right after 42, I started getting confused. So what I'm trying to say here is that at my age, I don't think it's a bad idea to. Let me reframe everything because I kind of like lost the train of thought. What I'm trying to say here is that to me, if this kind of like has all the check marks of what I'm looking or what I'm going after. And one of the things that I'm going after is that sense of community. So obviously it has to be a good fit, and it has to be kind of like humble enough for me to feel comfortable and be able to express myself. And I'm just like talking here, right? There's no script. So one of the things that I've suffered throughout my career that started here in the US, most precisely in New York City, one of the big issues in my career is my accent. And I think you wouldn't be able to understand this if you're a native speaker. I think it's a very immigrant thing, you know. Like if you are a native speaker or if you moved here when you were 9 years old and you have no accent, it's difficult to kind of like get in my shoes and understand what I'm going after. But I am sure, I can assure you from my gut, because I've never experienced a direct response on it, but I can assure you from my inside, from the core of my inside, that there is a bias when you have an accent, especially if that accent is Hispanic, as in my case, and most than anything, if you are on top of that a woman. And you have no idea how difficult it was for me to break into the industry right after school. I finished school in 2009. 2008 was 1 year prior, and the industry was absolutely collapsed. The whole economy collapsed. And on top of that, recent grad trying to get a job in a very male oriented industry. And it was very, very difficult. And, like as soon as I would kind of like express something or say something, and they would notice the accent, it would be, like kind of like a little bit of a distance, Um, which, by the way, it didn't happen if it was, for instance, an Asian woman. Not, don't think about the Asian woman like your typical Asian American, but perhaps, like immigrant as I am, but Chinese. It would be a complete different kind of approach, I guess. Um, Anyways, so what I'm trying to say here is that thing with the accent, that kind of bias that I felt and that I feel with my accent, has in a way influenced the way that I have approached my career, and then the way that I have expressed myself at work, or try to convey an idea. It has had a lot of influence. Always kind of like a little bit ashamed, a little bit of kind of frustration of not being able to fully put together the words. A lot of times, and you'll notice this here. um, I'm laughing because I don't know who's going to watch this, but whatever. But a lot of times, there are kind of like difficult words that I use because I don't know how to express myself in English. So I just say it I just kind of like draw a word from Spanish that is kind of like a complex type of word. Like last time I was here, I was trying to say paradigm. I don't know how you say that, which is in itself, it's a very complicated word. And is this something that comes from my Spanish background, and when I want to kind of like put it out there, is complex, and it just doesn't sound right, and so throws people off. And anyways, so this thing between my accent and the limitations that I have to express what I think and how do I think, and also my own personality, which is there is this thing where my husband says, I'm not in your head, so I don't know what you're thinking because I'm not in your head. You need to tell me things. There is this thing where it seems, again, I'm just being told this is the case. It seems that is my personality is also it also has this kind of like magical thinking where you're going to magically understand either what I'm trying to say or what's the directive, or whatever the case. So there are these three things, right? So all of these in regard to communication, which to me, communication is the number one thing for an environment to not be toxic. If there is no good communication, my son, if there is no good communication, there will be sentiments, right? There will be frustrations, there will be things, things to polish, or frustrations, as I said, or gossip, or you name it. So communication and transparency is definitely the number one thing. So going back to the interview and the opportunity, I am very excited about it. But it has to be as I said, it has to be a place where I feel comfortable, because at this day and age, 47, 48, I want to be picky. I'm picky. I'm definitely picky, we'll see what happens, obviously, but I'm excited. I don't want to get super excited, because then if it doesn't happen, because I do have that idea that feeling, that gut check feeling, that gut check feeling, okay, that gut feeling that it could potentially be that place, where is a little bit of a community where everyone helps, and we're kind of like pushing towards this goal, and then we're trying to achieve that. And I like that. I think that's great. I think humans work very well inside communities. We were living in communities for the longest time, and this kind of like very individualistic view of how life has to be is quite new for us as humans. Maybe it has like maybe 200 years at the most. So again, I do think it's a good idea. It would be nice to have that type of place where you go to work, and you feel that you are going, you don't feel like you're going to work, like you feel that you're doing something that really excites you. um, so we shall see. Again, um, the place has to be laid back enough that it makes me feel comfortable to talk and express and give direction without being all the time so self-conscious about my accent and the way that I express myself. Um, Another reason why I started this exercise of um, talking and doing these 10-15 minutes uh, logs is because I think it's good for me to talk, to say, to express, things that happened, and like just try to be more articulated, add more vocabulary. English native though, because I do have the vocabulary in Spanish, but then it's like, how do I express that idea in English? So be more articulated and more eloquent. That's another word that I like, eloquent. So that's what I have now. We'll see what happens. As I said, I'm very tired. I've been working also in another project, back to motion graphics, which is my background, and we'll continue to do this little exercise and just take things out of the chest and speak. Bye.